So, welcome to another chat. As you can see, we've changed rooms a bit, but we're still kind of doing our at home programs. So, what we're looking at today is what we did call it exercise levels, but you might understand it more if we said exercise modifications. And the reason we look at these modifications is because um, if you take an exercise like a bridge, which we'll show you in a minute, we can either make that bridge easier or we can make it harder. So clients, when they come along to us, they're going to be at all different levels. So you might get a beginner, you might get a mixed ability that's been for us like several weeks, or you might get a person that's been training for a year or so. And to get them doing the same bridge, they're not going to get the same kind of workout in at the end of the session that they would like. I'm not saying that you've got to work hard all the time, because some of the exercises are like mobility, and that can be a little bit easier sometimes to do. But if we've done 10 reps of an exercise, of a bridge, you say, you might get one person that feel that in 10 reps is really challenged. You might find another person, if they're just starting out, actually unable to do that. And it might be through several reasons. It could be through back pain or any other modification that we needed to make. Or you might find a person that's experienced would need to shift that up a gear to feel that he's working out, or that person working out hard enough to actually feel that they've had a kind of suitable workout for them in the session. So what we're going to do today is just go through some of the modifications so that you can see that if you do start training with us, that we've got different options on the exercises so that you feel a little bit more confident coming in, that you don't think, oh my gosh, I could never do that. I'm not coming to that class. So we want to feel.
We do modify it, and it might be that people do progress, even if we get all beginners. People will progress on different exercises at a different rate, and that's normal. It depends what your body's used to moving and how it's used to moving.
And you'll probably won't realise over the weeks how much you improve. Like we've had people come in that are just hardly doing a basic bridge, as we'd call it, but then progress to doing single leg bridges over a period of time. So we'll go through, we'll take it in turns, go through a basic bridge, and then we'll go through a couple of modifications. So a normal bridge that you'd probably see in a class is just lifting up and going down. We're not going through all the breathing stuff today, just showing you just a couple of the exercises, on there. So if we wanted to modify that to make it harder, we could maybe go onto a single leg bridge. We've got someone joining in with us today, as you can see. And if we wanted to make that easier, what we could do is just start off with a little tiny pelvic tilt. So you might have to watch carefully on this one. So we're just tilting the pelvis, getting ready for a little bridge from there. So we've got these different modifications that we'd do in that bridge position. Of course, we're not talking, as I said, about the breathing today. And there's a few other tips that we can do to assist you on that exercise. So hopefully it gives you a little bit of variation on that to show what we're going to do. The next one we're going to do is one that some people struggle with as well, which is called the side plank. So we've got different variations and modifications depending on what we're trying to achieve for the exercise. With the bridge, there's probably 50, 60, 100 different modifications you can do, believe it or not. And there you go, like, wow. So yeah, there's just so many numerous different bridges out there nowadays. With the side plank, we've got quite a few different ones to go through. So I'm going to go through a basic one to easier to harder. Yeah. I'm going to go on my side. And then I'm just supporting on the elbow. So some people come in with shoulder problems. This is just not a good exercise to do because a lot of the strain will come on this shoulder initially. So normally what we would see is just bringing the hips forward. I might bring my arm over and back down again. Yeah. So shifting the hips forward and over and back down. Coming up and over and back down again. So some people may struggle lifting up. So what we would do there is just start off with just being on the side and lifting the arm over. Other progressions or different ones we can do is using both hands, and it's like a rock forward, like I'm getting out of bed and coming back down again. Rocking forward, coming back down. Now, over a bit of time, you might hold for a little bit longer. So holding 5, 10, 15 seconds or so, and then back down. And then from there, some of the progressions that we could do from there is going into kind of more of a straight leg. I'm just going to lift up from there, and then I can bring my arm over still, or I do a lot of reaching forward. So we've got lots of variations in these positions. So hopefully that will give you a quick demonstration how we might change the side plank to make it work for you and the level that you're at, which is all very important when you come along to a class, so you know that you're not going to be working too hard. So over to Nikki for the next exercise.
Yeah. So the next exercise we can do a press up. So just a basic, not a full press up. You'd probably start off with what we call a rolling press up, where you're breathing, just coming up and back down. So just nice and controlled.
So you might find on doing these, that people have problems with their wrists. So any problems with the wrist, sometimes it will make it so difficult to do the press up that we'll change it completely and we'll shift over to use the band instead. Because you want someone to get a workout and you just don't want to sit in there not doing any exercise. So this one's pretty good.
You can do it either seated presses, or you can do it, the dog moves her tail, breathing out, just pressing vertically. You can go with different angles, but it's nice and gently breathing out to press. Other than that, you can go to a full press up, which is obviously from your feet. I'll not go down, but it's that sort of starting position. And that's another version. We do different things from that position as well.
We're just going fairly fast through these today, but there are important points to point out on these maneuvers, like the breathing, like pressure as well. So we will go through that if you start training with us.
Yeah, because we've got options for the hands as well, not to have them at right angles. So you can use various props.
So one exercise that is really functional is balancing, and we've got various different balancing exercises that we do and test. And so the first balance one we do is usually on, sounds strange, but on 2 feet to see if you're very stable or not. So if we're going through some balancing exercises, we could start you seated, or if standing, we can just start you on both feet and then just turning the head to see if you're okay at balancing in that position. Some people may not be, because they may have some vestibular issues, which are going to affect the balance. But then we might go to 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, and then I can turn my head then. And you might find that people wobble a bit due to that position. Well, one side might be really solid, they can come down, they can move. The other side, like I said, they may have to shift around a bit. So from there, we may move to shifting the foot backwards or lifting up. So our next progression might be like I'm going backwards and just touching the floor. I can bring the arms in. If you've got someone more experienced that comes along and been training for a while, they might not need them progressions. So we wouldn't keep them, but then we'd shift straight onto where they were. So you might find then that the foot would come up off the floor and then they would balance from there.
But we usually get people just to do the basic one each time they come in, just to try 1 or 2, just to make sure that everything's all right before they go on to more advanced ones.
Yeah, and then we would combine movements into coming down, coming up and up, coming down and up. So there's a lot of different combinations, a lot of different ones that we can do on them balance exercises. So we just picked these 4 exercises today as some examples that you can see that we've got progressions and regressions of the exercises.
So when you come in, you're going to be able to do what you need to do to help your body, but not have to be pushed to out of your ability by having to do something. So that's why we always have different level of exercises where it's appropriate.
So hopefully that's helped you today. If you have any questions, please contact us and we will see you again on our next chat very soon. Bye for
Bye.
now.